When did your son start masking? That is the question my therapist asked me today while we were in trauma processing, EMDR, and I want to share my answer with you guys because I think it illustrates something really unique and important to understand about PDA. So my answer was infancy, and she was really surprised because she's a psychologist, and the way that many psychologists, social workers, professionals think about masking and in the neurodiversity space is the imitation of neurotypical norms, right? So how can an infant imitate neurotypical norms or learn social behaviors? I mean, of course they can, but it's not like a conscious process. But my son was, from the moment he was born, like two different versions of himself. I could not soothe him, and he screamed most of the time and would not sleep. Yet when he was held by someone else and I wasn't there, when I would drop him off at my mother-in-law's house, he would sleep and he would stop crying. And this didn't just start in infancy. It was as soon as we started childcare in the DC area or a daycare, he would be totally fine and compliant and like a typical baby. And then he would come home and scream and arch his back. And then, physically, it was an adrenaline response. It was a fight or flight response. And he would, fight me when he was getting in the car seat with all the adrenaline coursing through his little body. And it was like this dichotomy where I was like, well, I guess it's just me. Like, I guess I just suck as a parent because I can't soothe my own child and everyone else seems to be able to. And this also extended into toddlerhood, toddlerdom. And he would go over to my mother-in-law's house and he would eat better and he would go to sleep early and he would be a totally compliant little guy. And we called it granny magic, but it hurt my heart because the second he would get home, he would have these epic panic attacks. Now I call them. It looked like meltdowns, and wouldn't eat, wouldn't go upstairs to bed. It was terrible. So why I share this with you is because this is an example of what masking looks like for PDA infants, babies, children, teens, any age where their brain perceives the most safety, which was with me, is where the threat response comes out, the fight or flight, and where they don't perceive safety on a subconscious level is where they are internalizing or masking the threat response. And so basically it makes you feel like a horrendous parent, but it's not you, it's masking.